In a quiet village surrounded by the towering mountains of southern Arabia, lived the al-Nuwairi family, famous for their unmatched skill in preparing mandi, the beloved traditional dish. But among all their recipes, one stood above the rest. A legendary version of mandi said to be so flavorful, so moving, it was only cooked once every 10 years. And only the head chef of the family knew its secret. Salim, a sharp and curious 20-year-old, was the grandson of the great chef Sheikh Nasser. Ever since he was a boy, he'd heard whispers of the legendary Mandi, but no one ever told him more. One night, while the flames danced in the old underground oven, he overheard his grandfather say quietly, "The time is near. The legendary Mandi will be prepared again." Salim couldn't sleep. Guided by the thrill of discovery, he crept into the ancient kitchen, where the clay oven, deep and round, sat like a throne. As he examined it, he heard a strange sound, as if someone was shifting coal, though no one was there. Curious, he reached underneath the oven and found a small, locked box with old Yemeni carvings. The next morning, Salim confronted his grandfather. "Grandfather, what is this box? What is the story behind the Mandi that only returns once every decade?" The old man sighed and said, "It is not ordinary Mandi, Salim. This is the Mandi of wisdom. It's not cooked with fire alone. It's cooked with memory, intention, and legacy." Sheikh Nasser took a key from the chain around his neck and opened the box. Inside was a scroll, written in saffron ink. It wasn't just a recipe, it was a story. Each ingredient came with a tale, where it must be sourced from, when it should be harvested, and even which moon phase was best for its use. On the awaited day, the entire village gathered around the oven. With steady hands and a focused heart, Salim, under his grandfather's watchful eye, placed the marinated meat over the spiced rice, then sealed the oven with stone and clay as tradition demanded. The fire burned slowly, patiently. Hours passed. Finally, the oven was opened, and a fragrance unlike anything anyone had ever known filled the air. When the first bite was tasted, silence fell. One elder whispered, "It's like I can see my ancestors." A woman said, "This reminds me of my mother's embrace." It wasn't just food, it was memory, emotion, and spirit. That evening, Sheikh Nasser stood before the villagers and declared, "Salim now holds the secret. As long as he remembers, the Mandi will never be forgotten." And from that day forward, Mandi was no longer just a dish to Salim. It was a legacy, a soul, and a story passed down through fire and time.